Well, Tottenham's first game in their new stadium in the Champions League has given us plenty to get stuck into. Gentlemen, first of all, let's try and analyse the result itself. 1-0. For both sides, what do you think that represents, Danny?
I think it's a fantastic result for Spurs. It puts them in a position now where they've got something to hang on to. You know, they can go up to City knowing they can beat them. That gives you confidence individually and collectively. And they can make a game plan based on having normally in any normal game you start 0-0 away at City. That sounds tough, but when you've got you can be a bit more cautious. You can bring them on to, and Tottenham have the players to play on the break. Unfortunately, Kane's injury is a big blow, but they've still got pace in Son, Lucas Moura, and they'll be quietly confident now. I mean, the bookies will still make City favourites, understandably, with the quality they possess. But I'm really pleased as a neutral and a former Tottenham player as well, in that it makes this next leg really interesting to watch. And it gives Spurs a big boost in their season because it's been a little bit negative recently with the league form.
Is the clean sheet as impressive as the goal they scored, Stuart, for you?
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah. I think to go on the road. And with their attacking options as well, the ability to get that away goal, I think it is a really big thing. Saying that from City's point of view, having just won a semi-final at the weekend, massive games coming up, he chopped and changed his team slightly. I'm not sure, he'll be disappointed that he's not come out even Stevens or level, but I don't think he'll be totally disappointed. They've got enough arrogance at City to think they can turn this round. What
did you make of their approach, Danny, tonight?
It wasn't a normal City. I mean, they played Gundogan in alongside Fernandinho, and he kind of sat with him. Normally they only play one, and they play two ahead. I think that was based on what happened to them at Liverpool last season, 3-0 down after, 19, 20 minutes. I think it was quite clever in some respects because Tottenham weren't dominating them at that point. It was stay in the game, build your way in. You don't have to win it tonight. But there was a lethargy about their performance. So they didn't have that normal high press. There wasn't really that zip. They didn't seem to go up into... Sometimes City have a lull in a game and then all of a sudden they come to life. But let's give Tottenham some credit as well. I mean, they defended brilliantly. Great shape, good energy. Hung on at times in terms of dropping off and letting City have possession. They always dominate possession. And dealt with when they lost Harry Kane, it would have been easy to feel sorry for themselves. They didn't. The subs did well and they cracked on.
Danny mentioned the lethargy from his point of view with City. Could you offer an opinion as to why that might have been the case? Well, first of all, do you agree?
I think when you're a team like Manchester City, as they stand at the moment, the magnitude of every game they're rolling out, bear in mind they've won a cup final already, they've just got to another cup final, you've got to keep turning performances out, and you've played for a top team, you know what it's like, mentally it's draining, and I don't know, you never know when those little dips are going to come in the season, you know, and I wonder whether they just had a little dip tonight. They've not done too bad, they've gone on the road at Tottenham. They'll be disappointed with the goal they've conceded. I think it's a poor defensive goal to concede. They've almost switched off and hoped that a linesman put his flag up for the ball going out of play. Yeah. But listen, they'll think that in turn this round in the second leg. If I was one of the players in each of the teams, I'd rather be a Tottenham player now defending a one-goal lead on the road.
Would you have a concern, though, Stuart, for you describe them playing in all these big games, the cumulative effect of that?
When I say big games, I don't mean just high-profile games, a Champions League quarter-final, whatever. You know, they've got to go to Crystal Palace on Sunday. That's a big game because they need 3 points. Whenever you go and you're a Man City or a Liverpool at this moment in time, you've got to win. You need 3 points. Otherwise, it's deemed a poor result and possible a title decider. They're the big games psychologically that these players have got to play week in, week out, and it's not easy to do that.
I don't think it's a physical thing. You made a great point earlier. Yeah, you made a great point earlier. The physical thing is not an issue for these lads. They're super fit. But mentally, you have to get yourself recovered, get yourself ready for the next game. And when you're such brilliant footballers and playing in a lot of big games, you know, in a way it becomes... you get in a comfort zone a little bit because you think, well, sometimes we've just got to turn up a little bit, you know, to beat Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final. There was a little bit of that, you know, and... Going to Palace, going to Palace away in the league isn't a European Cup semi-final, quarter-final, or a league title. Well, you know, it could be in terms of if they lose, they'll be in trouble. But as a player, the big games seem obvious. When you're going to Palace, you sometimes get there and you're kind of just not quite at it because you think you've just got to step on the pitch to beat them. It's subconscious. I don't think the City players say that. I don't think that, it was right.
No, of course
There's a subconscious that comes within the camp, and they're a good side, and they're just not quite at it. But let's not go overboard. Manchester City, so often this season, have been at it.
Yeah.
That's why they are where they are.
They've got a manager keep turning the screw all the time. And at the weekend, they've done enough to win. I didn't think they were great at the weekend, City, but they've done enough to win. Tonight, they've done OK, but they've been beaten in the game.
OK, I want to get back to the Champions League, though. So for your money, with all those things taken into account, do you think they won't do the quad?
No chance. I've said that for months on end. I think Liverpool will win the title. And I think this weekend will be a big indicator towards that. I think the game away at Palace is a tough one. They've got, we spoke earlier about, they've got to go away to Manchester United as well, Man City. You know, I think they've got tough games. And I think probably whoever goes furthest in the Champions League will have a big indicator as well on how physically demanding their league campaign's going to be out of Liverpool and Manchester City.
OK, let's bring it back to this Champions League quarter-final. Second leg, what sort of ask is it for Tottenham to go there? Now, we said a serious injury to Harry Kane. We saw that for ourselves.
Yeah, good.
Of course, all of us hope it isn't serious at all for both Tottenham and for England as well in the summer. But in a way, it was not ironic. It's not the first time that Heung-Min Son has stepped up and scored the goals in Harry Kane's absence. You remember he was out for 40 days earlier this season?
Well, there's 2 or 3 times he stepped in and their win ratio has gone up. And that's not... I mean, having Kane in your team is always beneficial, but Son has wonderful attributes to play as a striker. His energy is unbelievable. He can run behind, he can link the play. He's not quite the finisher Kane is, we know that, but he's not a bad substitute to have to play in that position. You know, you're not restricted by having him there, whereas if you played Llorente, maybe you would be, because he can't do the running in behind. And I actually think Lucas Moura deserved credit.
You like him, don't you?
He was great when he came on. He's not, he's a talented player, so I think although it's disappointing, and let's hope Kane is OK, I don't think it's going to... You don't see a Tottenham side turning up at City for the second leg thinking they've got no chance just because Kane's not playing.
The one thing that Son does, he runs in behind. And when he goes in behind, if he gets on the end of it, you don't catch him. No. You've got a chance of catching Kane, you've got a chance of catching Ali, Llorente, Eriksen, you can catch the others, potentially. You can't catch him.
A tweet just flashed across the bottom of the screen there. It said Tottenham actually played better without Kane. Now, that's probably a little bit too black and white.
Yeah.
But I think a few Tottenham fans have alluded to when he came back into the team, it took time for the team to adjust to him. Yeah. So maybe they can certainly play very, very well without him.
What I would say, Jeff, is probably when Harry doesn't play, Son plays more down the middle and he's got free rein to run in behind. And that's, I think every team needs a player to run in behind and really hurt the opposition with genuine pace. He's not a flying machine, but you won't catch him when he goes beyond you.
Dele Alli also left the field with a wrist injury. If they lost both of them, what sort of blow is that?
Well, losing your best player is always a blow when you're playing against anybody. That's why you need good squads. The big argument with Spurs is that maybe they haven't got the strength and depth that the big boys have got because they haven't spent enough. But we're hypothesising a little bit about Dele Alli. I mean, I think with something like that, maybe you can always get it strapped up. He doesn't seem the type of... I don't think he'll not play because he's hurt his wrist or his hand, will he?
Jeff, to show you what a big blow it was, you've only got to look at Pochettino's face when he knew Harry Kane had come off. And I think, like Danny, I hope I'm wrong, but probably there's only Harry Kane that would have got up and limped off with physios after seeing what I saw, you know what I mean, with his recent history, with his ankle. And I think Pochettino's reaction to the challenge, which I didn't think was a bad challenge, I think there was 2 players genuinely going for the ball. His reaction suggested it is a big blow for us.